Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show, where we help you make the wisest and most profitable decisions. My name is Dr. Gleb Tsipursky. I'm the CEO of Disaster Avoidance Experts, the future of work consultancy that sponsors the Wise Decision Maker Show. And I'm joined today by Tammy. Tammy, can you please share a little bit about yourself and tell us what you do?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Dr. Glab. My name is Tammy Kenber, and I'm the Chief HR Officer at UC Davis and UC Davis Health,
Hmm.
located in Northern California. We are part of the UC system. Obviously, we have an academic campus and
Mhm.
a health system attached, academic medical center and clinics. And we have almost 40,000 employees across our two campuses. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you for coming. So tell me a little bit about your generative AI integration. What have you been doing to make sure that you're integrating this new technology and what's been the impact?
Well, we're actually doing many different things on many
Hmm.
different fronts. But AI is everywhere
Hmm.
nowadays. The thing that I think we're most excited about, though, is we have probably similar to most organizations when employees have an issue or a problem or any
Hmm.
transaction, it gets loaded into, we call it Aggie Service because we're Aggies here at UC
Hmm.
Davis, but it's really a Salesforce platform.
Hmm.
And what we have done is used AI to give it a facelift and also
Hmm.
sort of serve as when employees first log in and start
Hmm.
documenting their problem, we've used predictive AI to go in and
Hmm.
say, hey, it looks like your problem is this, or you're having an
Hmm.
issue
Hmm.
about this. And it uses past solved cases to
Oh.
try to mitigate a new case by solving
Mhm.
that person's problem right out the gate.
Mhm.
We've just started using it recently, so we don't have a strong metrics yet about how many
Mhm.
cases this may mitigate long term, but we suspect it's going to make a big difference, and we're pretty excited about that. And then we
Mhm.
also have another AI tool that we just use within our domain here at UC
Mhm.
Davis that helps employees get answers about policies. As part of UC, as you can imagine, we have a lot of policies,
Mhm.
and this tool really helps employees that have quick questions about, is this allowed, or where
Mhm.
can I find more information about fill in the blank? And this AI tool goes in and quickly assists them.
So tell me a little bit more about how you decided to use these tools. I know, especially in educational settings, there's a lot of concern and hesitation around using generative AI tools. People are worried about everything from cheating to misuse. So tell me about how you decided to use these tools. What were the concerns and how did you overcome them?
I mean, we certainly had those concerns as well,
Mhm.
and that's why we had to create a tool that was within our own domain and not
Mhm.
like GPT or some of the other
Mhm.
readily accessible tools that are out on the internet. We needed something that was within the UC Davis sort of
Mhm.
firewall, if you will.
Yeah.
And our IT department was supportive, and they moved not as quickly as some other UC campuses, but
Mhm.
we were able to deliver a tool this past year that
Mhm.
thus far is working really well.
So tell me a little bit more. Let's go deeper into the concerns. What were the specific concerns expressed so that when then we'll talk about how you work to overcome them. So what were the concerns?
I think some of the ones you just mentioned,
Hmm.
security, and when you put things out on the internet, that's where these other tools are using it to learn. And
Yeah.
so if it's private information to your
Mm.
institution, um, there that could result in breaches or just information
Mhm.
out there on the dark web that you really don't want out there. So
Mhm.
um, our IT department was very careful and prescriptive about working, especially with employees and students, about what's appropriate and what's not.
Perfect. So it sounds like cybersecurity and data privacy were the main concerns that were expressed.
Correct.
And how are people finding using the tool? Like I said, I've seen some educators be hesitant about generative AI for all sorts of reasons. not only for cybersecurity data privacy, but also for ethical, moral reasons and having to do with cheating and just concerns about their job even. How have people been responding to both of these tools that with the Salesforce tool and the native tool that you've developed?
I mean, I think as with most new things, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. But
Hmm.
what we're finding oftentimes is that once people use something successfully for a
Hmm.
period of time, uh, it sort of wears down that resistance. And
Hmm.
we're incorporating AI at a much faster rate than many past technologies have
Hmm.
been integrated. Uh, this past year, we also integrated an AI scripting tool for our
Huh.
physicians in the medical center,
Hmm.
where it's basically taking the notes and putting those into the files. And I think
Hmm.
we were wondering, would patients be receptive to this?
Hmm.
Would the physicians be receptive to this? But now that we've had it up and running for a little bit of time, it's going
Hmm.
really, really well, and
Good.
it's been very positively received by everybody that's using it. And
So what
it's
were
and
the,
it's really
oh, I'm
good.
sorry, go ahead.
It's really effective, and um, I think that's one of the things I personally find most interesting about
Hmm.
AI. Even when I have used it myself, I'm like,
Hmm.
wow, this is just really good. It's
Good.
way better than I expected it to be.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I suspect that's happening for other people too.
So tell me a little bit more about this scripting tool. I've worked with a number of healthcare organizations and I've seen them use tools, for example, for when they do recordings and they transform those into notes. I'm curious if that's what you mean or if you're talking about something else.
It is. So when you go in for your appointment, your
Hmm.
physician or the physician's assistant will ask, "Are you okay with us using this tool
Hmm.
for today's
Oh.
appointment?" And assuming that they say yes, then it's turned on. And
Hmm.
so the AI tool is then allowing the physician
Hmm.
to really make eye contact
Yeah.
and engage with the patient and knowing that everything is getting captured
Mhm.
and summarized effectively.
And what were some of the initial concerns from physicians around this? And like I said, I've worked with a number of organizations that adopted it. I'm curious were the concerns are among physicians. If you heard any concerns from patients, I'm sure you heard some from physicians.
I think it's exactly what you would suspect. Will it really be
Hmm.
able to capture everything? What about some of the nonverbal
Yeah.
communication that we as humans have? Will it really be able to properly summarize
Hmm.
what transpired in this human interaction? Um, but as you know, AI is getting
Hmm.
more and more sophisticated, and it actually does a really good job of capturing.
Now, there's, of course, some HIPAA concerns when you're using a generative AI tool for that. What have you done to overcome those concerns? There are a number of tools that incorporate that address the HIPAA concerns. I'm curious what you're using, if you recall.
Well, of course, attorneys have been involved every step of the
Yes.
way, and of course, the tool is HIPAA compliant that we use.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we would never do anything that didn't comply, and it has to go
Mhm.
through many, many layers of our, you know, we have a vendor risk assessment
Yeah.
where it's very arduous to even get
Mhm.
through that process and then go into the implementation phase. And we have an
Mhm.
information security office. And so everything gets very, very thoroughly vetted.
Nice. Now, I'm curious if so you talked about the tools about solving some problems with the first tool, Salesforce, then about clarifying policy, and then about the scripting tool. Are you planning to roll out tools that people can use to generate content, whether you're faculty, whether you're students, whether you're staff like marketing staff and HR staff, compliance staff? What are your thoughts around that?
I would probably, Gosh, I'm really unsure how to answer that question because I think the short answer is that yes, AI is being used everywhere for all of those things that you've just um, identified, and it's happening so fast. I think everybody is not really sure how to even keep up with it.
Mhm.
Um, I look at things all the time and we
Mhm.
wonder, was this generated by AI or did
Yeah.
someone actually write this? And so I think, especially on the academic side,
Mhm.
I mean, there are rules but it's also hard to say someone didn't write this if it was just AI assisted, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. And I think
Sure.
we, just like many other institutions, are trying to understand where is that line
Mhm.
between did a person actually write this or was there assisted AI somewhere
Mhm.
in there? Um, I think this is going to be an issue that we really are going to be grappling with in the next couple of years.
Talking about your grappling with this issue, what's your AI governance structure like? Like, how is the rule making determined? Who are the people involved? What does the process look like?
I mean, we certainly, um, we're a big system. We have
Yeah.
lots of governance. There's governance for everything, access.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not quite sure what all the rules are though, and whether
Mhm.
or not they fully encapsulated the introduction of AI into our world though,
Mhm.
to be honest.
I see. So, like I said, I've worked with a number of institutions. I find it's helpful to establish a separate AI governance council to have a number of stakeholders ranging from HR and IT to some faculty members, even some students, to actually help get input from various stakeholders and then make decisions that then specifically apply to AI as opposed to handling it within previous governance structures. I'm curious what you think of that.
I fully agree. And I know we do have an AI council here at
Mhm.
UC Davis and then a larger one overarching for the whole system. But
Mhm.
I'm not aware that anything has actually um, been produced yet about what the governing rules are
Mhm. Still
around
in the
some of the technology that is just evolving daily.
I see. So you're still in the process of the figuring out the rules and I
Yes.
understand. Now, when looking forward, and as we finish up, when looking forward in the next couple of years, where do you see and how do you see the use of generative AI evolving at UC Davis?
It's hard to say because
Mm.
it's actually evolving so quickly. And I know
Mhm.
my department, just like many others, is asking for support from our
Mhm.
IT infrastructure to help us incorporate even more.
Mhm.
Um, we have a tool that we use to create job descriptions, and it actually has an AI tool embedded in
Ah.
it,
Mhm.
but we need some support from our own internal IT department to turn that switch on because you have to
Uh-huh.
do some programming to actually
Mhm.
make the tool work. And
Mhm.
so, I myself have a ticket in right now waiting
Mhm.
for that. And I suspect there are departments all over our
Mhm.
campus that have similar tickets that are trying to um, incorporate more and more AI into the work that they do and how they operationalize, all of it. So
Mhm.
uh, honestly, I can't really answer that question because I think it's going to continue to just grow and grow and get bigger and bigger.
Well, sounds like that's your answer. Sounds like
Make
it'll
us
make
better and
folks a lot
better.
more productive. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Tammy. I really appreciate you sharing your expertise.
No
And
problem.
thank you
It's
to the
been a pleasure.
audience for thank you to the audience for checking out another episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you checked out the show and leave a review. It helps others discover the show and helps us improve the show.